Alright everybody, it's our Clow here, and welcome to part 2, talking about Lady Gaga. If you didn't watch part 1, go back and do that. It's an excellent video and lays out a really informative baseline for what I will proceed to talk about in this presentation. So, let's get right back into things here. I want to start with the actual music video for Perfect Illusion, and again, there's that nice trumpet on her arm there as we were discussing in connection with Tony Bennett and so many other things in part 1, but look at the coding here for Perfect Illusion. Remember, it came out on September 9th of this year. The full reduction is 999. Very, very important, but you see reference to Encrypted, Satanic Prophets, Infernal Tribute, as well as Royal Snake and Ready to Go. Down below, the ES values are the same as Lincoln Financial Field, which is where Beyonce played a show on September 29th of this year, which is also the same day it was announced that Lady Gaga would be playing the Super Bowl halftime show next year. Of course, September 29th itself also has that 999 reduction built right into it. And so, with this video here, conceptually it seems to represent the idea of her making up everything in this world that she experiences, because at the beginning of the video there's nothing around her. As it progresses, all of these things appear, it turns into this raging party, and then it ends with her just rolling around in the desert by herself. But so look at the excuse me, the ES values down below here for Perfect Illusion. Recipe for the formula of magic: follow the signs, off with their heads, and New Braunfels, Texas. And so what I think is so interesting about that is just simply the crest that they have, and how I think it is just so incredibly similar to the Pilgrim Society logo and some of its regards and how it's coming up here. But so let's keep going though. Let's break down this title, Perfect Illusion, and look at the word perfect on its own. You have reference to parables, paths, the final imam, final false god, end time king, the phrase I am order, very interesting, as well as infernal agenda, and tainted, of course, the opposite of perfection. Now look here, the English and simple values, you have a reference to sacrifice. 18, we have the phrase Ezekiel. Now, do remember in one of my most recent videos I was talking about the prophetic 515 code in Dante's Divine Comedy, and so one bit that we didn't discuss in that is in the Bible. Ezekiel 515 happens to be quite ominous. You see here it says, "So it will be a reproach, a revealing, a warning, and an object of horror to the nations who surround you when I execute judgments against you in anger, wrath, and raging rebukes. I, the Lord, have spoken." And so very troubling to say the least, because I told you there's a lot of information put into that number, and we've looked at it at length. Notice as well reference to United Nation. We see the phrase Salve, which I look at in direct connection to the goat of Mendes here, and notice that is on his right arm, translated as dissolution, right arm, just like Gaga's trumpet. We also have a reference to the obelisk and goodbye. Now, if we look at the word illusion on its own, we have to cite that this was the original song title, and the coding for it could reveal as to why they added the word perfect, because you see front row, Illuminati. Remember, I was talking about her having the 19 tattoos, and this being referential to the sun card, everything coming down to this worship of the sun or the moon. But Illuminati, a 10-letter word, starts with the 9th letter, 10 and 9, 19, alright, over and over. But you see Satan's seal, Satan and Moloch, the slanderer, cult leader. You have a reference to Path of Teth, all too fitting. It's the path of Babylon. You also have the Qliphoth, that's the tree of death. You have immortal death, suicide death, and horrors. And so I just think that word is so interesting in context with that Ezekiel 5:15 that we were just looking at, because they actually write an object of warning and horror. And so Very, very compelling. But now look here, for illusion still, ES values are 666, 111, which is the same as formation, high by the beach, hotline Badu, all of these things that we go into again and again and again. But notice, mark of beast, lady of evil, you've got this reference to Santa Claus, as well as Book of the Dead, forehead sign. You see here as well, dollar sign. Now, most of you are familiar with what a dollar sign looks like. It is an S with either one or two lines through it. But so what if we take that S as the sun card, right? As 19. With the line through it, we have a 1. We can also think of that as the Magus. But so if we put that 1 behind the 19, it's 191, which is the same as Barak Hussein Obama Jr. Very troubling. And so if we put the 1 in front of the 19, we get 119, or 911 if we invert it, of course reducing down to 99. So very, very troubling to me, alright? And so here's the lust card for you, just so that you can get a taste of what that is all about. And of course we have this reference still to Beyonce and Formation, her drowning at the end of the video there. And so let's see what we're trying to get into here. The song is 3 minutes 2 seconds in length, and so 302 gives us deadly Holy Spirit rituals, as well as the first day of the apocalypse. Again, remembering the 9/9 release of this, and the most destructive nuclear weapons test by North Korea being conducted, right, coming in with a bang. And so it's very interesting that if we invert and add 302, we get 505. And again, staying in line, dark ritual, shot in the dark, occultism, all things are lies, infernal propaganda, Beyonce, and Lenny. Okay, so all of this tying into everything that I talked to you about, alright? That's what's so very interesting about this, is the level of consistency that I'm able to maintain for you throughout, alright? So notice in the video, I don't know that I've got the actual image anywhere for you here. It looks like this is as close as I've got to the 74. She's wearing this bomber jacket with the 74 on the front of it there. So do notice here, of course, right, America founded July 4th, blah, blah, 7 and 4, we add it. Lust card, right, it's all too fitting again, because in the middle of this video, that's all that is really happening, is people lusting for what they have been programmed to feel is life. That is promiscuity and getting just ridiculously inebriated and high on any and everything that is around. Alright, that is what is endorsed and encouraged in this society. If you are denying that, then you're focusing too much on your just world theory concept not being violated. You have to actually understand this country for what it is, and that is a shithole which absolutely encourages everybody rolling around in it, alright? But so, look at this as well, because the number 74 is very interesting. It has an English value of 444. Now, this is stunning to me, alright, because that 444, there's coding with occult, killing, Jesus, Lucifer, the King, Barak death, nuclear, weapon, Susan. This is the woman who posts all of Erykah Badu's updates on her website, and Don King. Alright, so it just comes back again and again and again for you. Alright, so let me catch up over here so we can stay in line with all of our images. Now, take a look at this here. I've only got one side of it for you. The jacket that she's wearing, it does appear to say "I want you" on one arm and Gaga on the other. And so if we take a look here at how we can break that down, you do see another reference to Yellowstone Lake, as well as U.S. collapsed October 11th. Now it's coming up right around the corner here. A couple of ways we can look at that, as either the 10th month and 11, or right, the 11th day in the 10th month. So now this over here is very, very critical, that 111 and 0, because as you'll see today, it's going to come up in quite a few places, but the same as Donald John Trump, as well as the powers that be, foretold by the Bible, Book of Revelation, and so many other things. It's also the same as mistaken for love. Excuse me. One aspect of the chorus in this song, alright? So now take a look here. Down below, the ES values for I Want You Gaga, same as Trauma Room 1. This is where John F. Kennedy was pronounced dead, alright? So if we look at this again, 144, that is the Lisa the Iconoclast episode, and remember, inverting it as 441 is the same value as Lady Gaga, Tom Donovan, the man who shot Liberty Valance, and is the length of Del Rey's Salvatore. Now look at the ESs here, Mark of the Beast, 44, Satanic Hexagram, Open Third Eye, Alien Invasion, and Great Harvest. Alright, so keep moving. The new album is going to be titled Joanne. You see a reference to Conspiracy. Obama is the Antichrist, Guardian of the Rose, Terrifying, The Double Helix, Let the Music Speak, and The Most Hidden Secret. Alright, down below, references to Shiva, Tobacco. Remember everything I was talking about with when Tom Donovan is exposing how the death of Liberty Valance actually played out. He's smoking and blows this smoke screen as the scenes crossfade into each other, but where he reveals how this murder actually took place. Alright, so again, references to Black Mamba, Lemon, and The Lie. Alright, and so again, as we stated in part 1, the album is set to come out October 21st this year, and so if we reduce October 21st, there's our 4, and then the year, of course, reduces to 9, and so this is going to get very interesting for you here, alright? So remember back here in this episode of the 91st episode of The Simpsons, right? And again, thinking about this concept of Gaga has 19 tattoos on her, all of this coming down to worshipping the sun. But this scene in the beginning of this Simpsons episode, and again, it's called Springfield, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Gambling, a reference to Kubrick's How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, Dr. Strangelove movie about the nuclear attack that unexpectedly happens against all odds. But again, you do see that 49 in the front there, 9 and 4, 13, the death card, 1 and 3, 4, the Emperor. Okay, so again, a way that we can interpret this is the idea of a transition happening, a death of something, a progression of something, leading us to either a new view on limitation or the removal of it as we know it. Okay, and so since we've got that weird train reference there, I want to note here that Lady Gaga, of course, happens to appear in a Simpsons episode, and it's titled Lisa Goes Gaga. Okay, and so each word there is 4 letters, and we'll talk about that in just a bit there. But so notice down here you can see the Jewish value for 444, and you do have the reference to Order of Thelema and Head Mind Control, as well as FEMA Camp Program, which is very troubling because right now we're talking about trains. Okay, and so in the episode that Gaga is in, the whole centerpiece of her coming and going revolves around a train. Okay, and of course on the train they give us this nice little scene here. She's surrounded by all of the demons, and it's just so funny, right? But so notice as episode 22 from the 23rd season, so that 2223, which when we multiply gives us, you guessed it, 666, right? So they're very clever over there at The Simpsons. And so if we take the title with this 444 and that date with the actual episode and season with the 666, and we add them together, there's that 1110 again, alright, that we were just looking at in reference to the October 11th right up here. Okay, and so again, that 1110 does come up with Masterpiece Ion, Donald John Trump, all of those things. Okay, and so notice here it was the 508th episode. Okay, and so if we drop the 0, there's that 58 again. Remember from part 1 we were talking about the simple value for Lady Gaga is 58. Remember as well, this is the 58-year anniversary of NASA, as well as the 58th presidential elections here in the United States. Alright, incredibly important number. And so let's keep moving here though, because the album, as well as this song, primarily produced by Mark Ronson. And so let's keep moving here. There's Ronson for you, makes his appearance in the video. But so his Jewish value gives us September 9th. Okay, there's the release date for this song, as well as that 9/9 reference. We also have a phrase that uses black magic and pure deceit. Now here's some more wild for you. The ES values are the same as Pez theory. Dun 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 dun! Right, there it is. There you have Donald Trump, you have Beyonce Lemonade, Sade Bring Me Home, A Real Cup of Coffee, Master Mason, Behind the 11, The Number 7, Great Architect. All of it fits right in there, okay? Higher Wisdom, Long Overdue. Let's keep going though, because I've talked about that in excruciating length almost in the past for you. But so I can't make out all of the jackets, but again, you can see on one sleeve for Ronson it says Ronson and the other says Ice Cold. So when we look at that together, again, just even Ice Cold, 9-3, right? Just like Ice Cream. But very important, right, because that master thelemic number. And again, the 444 value here for Ice Cold Ronson. Order of Thelema, Rise Up, The Final Step, The Second Coming, FEMA Camp Program, and The Time Has Come. So notice his ES values for that do give us the same as Dying by the Hand. Again, this is from the song Salvatore, which comes up Salvatore, Amen here. Again, the word, but Sic Sit Vobis, the final words from Book of Thoth. There's my name for you. Mike Will made it, producer of Formation, and Lord Roberts, the first president of the Pilgrim Society. But so again, all of these concepts linking right in. The apocalypse, the blood of a goat, remember, God of all things. You also see global control, manifestation, Anuit Coptus, the universe, as well as destructive, yellow sun, a reference to the number 68, which is the same as Barack Obama and 1-1. Okay, so let's keep moving here though, because Blood Pop, one of the cited producers on here, has this very interesting bit where B is the second letter and P of course is the 16th letter. So this 216, here we get back to our prophetic 510 and 5, right, from Dante's Divine Comedy. And remember the bit that we were looking at with the Ezekiel 5:15 even in just part 1 here. But so notice this simple value of 216 does give us begin apocalypse event, disappear then reappear, the aeon of adjustment, having everything to do with the Gaga coding we talked about in part 1, as well as CERN will let in aliens. You'll also notice here that Santa's Little Helper shares this coding. Remember, this is the Simpsons dog that they get in the first full-length episode, which premiered on December 17th. But again, all the letters in its name are, all the words are 6 letters in those names. So there's that 666 for you, and we reduce S, L, and H, we get 138. And I'll talk about that more just a little later on here, okay? But so I want to keep moving. Again, look at the right side of your screen. Catch up on all that previous coding. Dante's Divine Comedy, again, all words, 6 letters. So keep moving here, though, all right? So here's our 27 when we reduce the B and the P, so we get that reference to either the inverted age of John Wayne, Crowley, many others at 72, or just the number 27 itself, which, as I've told you in the past, the Simpsons have loved to mock us with over the years here. And again, this number having just about everything to do with death. All right, but so now let's keep going. I want to talk about, let's look at the bottom here, ES values, same as Misfits and Promise. Alright, so very interesting. This was, of course, Sade's album that we looked into, and Misfits, not only in reference to, we could take this the Plan 9 Records route, and again, there's this 138, Kennedy being assassinated, bullets, all of that, but also remember that Misfits was the name of a movie that Marilyn Monroe starred in, and let's see if we can pull this up for you pretty quickly here. Okay, so yes, perfect. So she stars in this movie called The Misfits, and of course there's all of this interesting information that I have for you down here on it. What I do want to note is that I talked about, and this was in a video that was banned, but this time frame here, the 1025 days before Kennedy's assassination, when this film was released, if we invert as 5201, that was actually the location of Parkland Memorial Hospital at the time that Kennedy was taken there. And of course, all those letters, the 8s, take a look at all of that for you. The secret of Freemasonry, another false flag operation, right? All of these things that we've talked about so much in the past. But so keep going back to the left side of your screen here. And I have the simple value of 95 flagged to the side here because there's 95 days between September 9th, again, when Perfect Illusion was released, and this date of 12/12. And so I'm going to talk about that in just a moment here. But you see reference to pentagram, martyr, greatest disaster, and worst result. So now, in this song, the Perfect Illusion that she's talking about, and she says, right, it wasn't love. And so that's her big thing that she's really droning over again and again here. And so since I restarted this channel, one of the things I've always intended to do was make a very, very in-depth presentation for you on the concept of love and how it's misinterpreted, all of these very critical concepts, and again tying them into the Tower card from the Thoth Tarot deck, and the notion of having to eliminate all of the preconceived notions of love when joining any of these organizations. But so take a look here on the right side of your screen, because the word love shares the values for 11 as well as the 19th letter. Alright, so thinking back to everything we've been talking about with that letter. But I want you to see over here, and again, even just down below, English and symbol values, you have that reference to sun, the 19th card. Alright, just keep up. Same value over here, the Jewish value, as for there are love and love. And again, this is directly from the Tower card, in which Crowley is differentiating between the dove and the serpent. Okay, now you see here virtually undetectable, and that is to say that differentiation is almost impossible for people to know. You have some substantiating phrase right here. The crucifix is a Roman murder symbol, and so for Christians it is a symbol of devotion and love and all sorts of things, but and again, duality of also representing murder, excessive cruelty directly tied to that. You have a reference to the number 281, and remember, the 281st day of this year is going to be October 7th, 107, one of the most important numbers that we've looked into. But do check this out, right? This 281 is the same as window seat re-examination. Now this is the video that Badu's assassinated in Dealey Plaza in, and in the re-examination what they do is they play the video in reverse. And so when they do so, and when we add that, you see here the number of the Antichrist, ancient order of Bavarian seers, bloodlines of the Illuminati. You see beginning of apocalypse event, rising of the Holy Phoenix, the truth within the lies, and divine earthquake in California. Alright, I even want you to see up top here for this, because these are all very important. You have stained with murder and enormous adulteries. Alright, so very, very critical to think about. But so now keep moving here though. Alright, back to the Jewish value for it wasn't love. You do see the center point of everything: money, sex, power, and the world is out of control. Down below, the ES values, same as Shooter's Hill, and number 12. Remember, this is Lenny in the Stonecutter Society. He's number 12. The 12th tarot card, of course, is the Hanged Man, and that's why I've been talking so much about his eye gag and how I feel that's referential towards him being martyred. Again, here you have this reference to the window seat video here, in which Badu is shot in Dealey Plaza. And do remember that Shooter's Hill is where the George Washington National Masonic Museum, whatever that is located, all right? And so let's keep moving here, and it's on the same parallels as the Washington Monument. Very interesting to think about. But take a look here, reference to messages revealed, satanic rulers, false prophets, Luciferian Mason, and here you have damage Obama right eye, just like we were just talking about. Mystical arts is also something that comes up, all right? So now let's keep moving here. Looking through, this is the lyrics for the album, or for the song. She says, it was a perfect illusion. It wasn't love, right? It was a perfect illusion. And so when we look at that, we have the formula of the universe, as well as peace / 2018. Now again, 2018, a big year that we've looked at in the past. But look at this here, though. You have the hexagram creates the false duality, all right? So taking those two triangles, right, those two trinities, inverting them of each other and creating that from where it shouldn't be. You can look at this as shadows or any other number of things. But notice as well, 666 / mark of the beast, all right, all for you there. Now check this out, because it also has Monday, December 12th. December 12th this year happens to be Monday. It is the 347th day of the year with 19 days remaining. 347 is the same as Bullet, The Killers, The End of America, and Dictator. Very, very important. We'll talk about that more in just a second here. But check this out. In the middle of everything, supernatural phenomena, the sign of the second coming, Holy Day of Apocalypse. Here's a reference to January 22nd, and the Bible is about the occult. But let's jump back here to December 12th. Again, that is the 12th month, the 12th day. There's that 33 for you there. But it's the day before the full cold moon, which is going to obviously then be on the 13th. You see as well that each word in that is 4 letters. So there's our 444 again. But for full cold moon, take a look at this. Top secret, the serpent, cults of Baal, 888s, as well as Obama / USA death, serpent / fish. Remember the fish being synonymous with the death card. You have made in the USA, as well as prophetic death and pale horse of death. Now check this out, because the English and simple values give us the same as President Obama. Remember, just all of the critical things there. Also the same as 42. This is the cursed number. 240, if we just invert that, this is the years since the U.S. has been founded. This is also the amount of time that it took from Beyonce releasing her Formation single until she just recently concluded that tour back on October 2nd. And it was very interesting to me that that day or night or whatever, Kim Kardashian was allegedly tied up and robbed at gunpoint in her hotel room in France. Get out of here. I mean, it's France. 6-letter word, starts with the 6th letter, on and on. Any case, keep moving here. Terrorist, contact event, 7th sign, an alien deception, as well as hieroglyphs, right? The moon is absolutely one of those. Secret money, state of shock, UFO cover-up, and Christmas Eve. Even just thinking back to all of the 216 bits, and Christmas Eve is when the Simpsons got their dog, Santa's little helper, right? All of those things. But so, let me keep going, and of course Santa's little helper having the same as 500, 10, and 5. But keep going here, because one of the phrases she repeats all throughout this is a perfect illusion. Now, you do see here a reference to President Abraham Lincoln, and so let me see if we've got this one for you in here today, because in this scene, Pompey, the only black man in this film, is standing by this portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Of course, this is the Matthew Brady portrait, and what you notice here that you don't ever see is this dark indentation right in the middle of Lincoln's forehead. We also have these interesting shadows at play on the wall, where you have this fishing pole here, and you have Pompey's shadow on the wall, kind of creating this hanged man sort of illusion there, alright? So absolutely critical to keep in mind, and remembering that on the 29th, Beyonce was playing at Lincoln Financial Field, all right, a direct reference there. And let me see if I've got, yeah, we've got this bit right here about Abe Lincoln declaring Thanksgiving a federal holiday in 1863, which is 153 years ago, same as the Illuminati, as well as In the Right Eye, on and on and on. Okay, of course, 16th president. Keep going, right? But let's stop there and move forward with this. Very interesting stuff, because we have reference to Satanic church member, Eye of Satan, the secret Barack Obama plan, and CERN collider disaster. Okay, but now let's move down here to the ES values for a perfect illusion, and you see there's our 1110. All right, that we were looking at for the date October 11th, or we were also looking at it for when we added up the values for the Simpsons episode that Lady Gaga appears in. All right, the 666 plus the 444 gives us that. Okay, and there's our 9 Years War reference. There's our Lisa the Iconoclast, Donald John Trump, Secrets Kept Hidden. But look at this, because a perfect illusion and Mistaken for Love, which shares the values here, this is the hook from this song, just like in Erykah Badu's song So Long. That's what she said is a part of the hook. It's something that she says 11 times in that song. And of course, this trumpet, this right eye, all the things that we've discussed with that. All right, absolutely critical. Calling Out My Name is from the chorus of Lana Del Rey's Salvatore. You can take this on and on and on. Okay, but so getting back here though, for the Jewish values for Mistaken for Love, do you see that you have Obama is evil incarnate, as well as 444/99, and that's a reference to the 444 and the 99, and so that to me is just stunning beyond words. And right here, truth is in the numbers. You got it. Resurrect the Antichrist. So now let's go down below here. And she says, right, you were a perfect illusion. And so we get direct reference to Yellowstone caldera eruption, which is terrifying because, right, this docile volcano, it's the #2 search destination in the state. So very interesting that it could destroy us all right? So now look down here. English and simple values for that. You were a perfect illusion gives us 444. All right, you see how it comes up again and again and again. And so you also have here reference to Yellowstone National Park. Global population reduction, California's worst disaster. No man knows the day or hour, and the phrase nothing is quite as it seems. Touche. All right, so now look here. Lady Gaga, perfect illusion. We have reference to the manifestation of truth, messages revealed, the beasts of destruction, moon god of the devil, religious conquerors, sadistic violence, evil and dishonorable, and the perception of existence. Again, this is the big keystone point that I've been hammering on right through all of this. I was talking about the video is her perceiving all of this happening, but it actually ends, right, with everything disappearing and her alone in this desert. So very interesting that this phrase, Lady Gaga, perfect illusion, also shares the values as starts, miracles, enders. And so a number of you familiar with my Family Guy video, but again, this behind Peter and all of the important things we've talked about being connected with that. But here you have Brotherhood of Saturn, as well as Fall of the United States, Humanity's Tombstone, and Witnesses Celebrate Death. I want you to see as well here, I am an instrument of peace, bearing in mind the hidden connotations that we've talked about with that. Everything from the peace sign being referential to Typhon, to Nero, to you name it, okay? So keep going though. When we're looking at her album and her name as it will appear on shelves, we have Lady Gaga, Joanne. This is the same as the 7th seal, alright? So you can look at this in a number of ways, including in being referenced towards the film, which is considered a world cinema classic, alright? But so notice here that we have reference to Great Harvest, then Sudden Destruction, Subconscious Implants, as well as Illegal Power, Destroyer of the Earth, Toxic System, Federal Communications Commission, illegal power, and 33 is sacred. Keep going. The English and simple values here, same as Fifth Avenue. Not only the location of that 666 building, but also of Trump Towers, okay? This reference to soft ice cream. Remember that ice cream shares the same values as abrahadabra, rose, vaccine, many other very critical things, but it's also the same here as tax guys. And so since I've talked so much about Erykah Badu's Hotline Bling cover and Time Magazine doing an article on it for some reason, and I've also been talking so much about Don Trump and SNL, remember SNL 153, it's like the number of years since, right, Thanksgiving became a federal holiday, did this skit where Donald Trump was doing a play on Hotline Bling. Tax guys, right? Shares same value there. Reference to flesh and blood, wrath of God, torture, mind power, the seal of God, and you even have this reference here to Bruce Wayne. And so an interesting bit with the Zootopia crossover here, the whole idea there where they were misleading the public as to why violence was breaking out in an attempt to, right, create total power, get a dictatorship, overthrow the current system that was in play. And they were using little berries or grapes or something that were loaded with some sort of concoction that would turn shit crazy. So of course think to Batman Begins, the first of Christopher Nolan's Batman series movies, and the whole premise is this idea of vaporizing a chemical in the water that when released across the city creates everybody to hallucinate, become violent, destructive, all of these things. So it's just immensely interesting to me. Alright, last couple of bits here. The music video for Perfect Illusion is directed by Ruth Hogbin and Andrea Gellerden, alright? So do notice here when we put them together we have reference to Executioner, Satanic Crusaders, Serpent Seed Bloodline, the Ultra Secret, the Occultist's Egg, Evil Being, and Illuminati Hoax. Down below the ES values, Hillary Rodham Clinton, all the way spelled out for us, as well as the Great Transformer and the idea to find Solomon's Vault. Do remember that we found this coming up way back here in the for the Seven Arts Productions, and this is who produced Marilyn Monroe's movie The Misfits. But so one of the things that comes up in that coding, right, was in fact finding Solomon's Vault. Vault. But so down below here is all the actual coding for it, and you do see reference to psychological operations must be killed in this manner, and add 13 to 31, which equals 44. Of course, you can see here it's also the same values as she's also releasing a mixtape, which ties us right back to Badu and the Time magazine coverage of her doing a cover song. Alright, so just very weird. Now notice here we have reference to Perturabo, the Great Beast. This is a reference to Crowley, and especially in the capacity of Book of Lies. And again, just thinking back to this idea of the chapter on sucking eggs. If I'm not mistaken off the top, it is chapter 69. This is the 69th year since Aleister Crowley's death, alright? So very interesting when we think about it in that context as well. So again, there's more of that coding to reiterate on that side of the screen for you, okay? But so now, let's finish it out here. Reference to earthquake technology, the weather modification, alright? Those are both the same. HAARP, which has that 44 coding on it as well. Look here, Antichrist President, creative destruction, the 7 continents, and dictated by authority. So let's end this out here on the 19th bit, just like the number of tattoos she has and all of the things that come back to the reference there, Mother Monster. Do notice it has that double 13, that 1313 is the same value as Camptown Ladies. Remember, this is the song Chief Wiggum, who has that 666 coding, is singing when they exhume the body of Jebediah Springfield for conspiratorial reasons. We have the appearance of 11 warning signs. Here you have it written out again, 153 fish. Remember, 153 in the right eye, as well as the Illuminati. Fish equals none, which is the death card. You do have Illuminati prevail written down here as well. So very troubling. You can also reduce those M's down to 44. Another absolutely fine way to look at it. And I do want you to see, though, since the phrase double 13 has come up quite a bit here, take a look at that. Same as metaphorically, as well as solve coagula, entertainment, okay, on and on and on. It's also the same as Maisha's So Long, Lizzie Grant. This is Lana Del Rey's real name, and Hugh Stevens, who premiered her song Lip Sync. I mean, you see it just comes up again and again. Anyways, get back to this over here. You see reference to the 10 Sephiroth. This is the Tree of Life. You have sex grooming. Set and Horus, mother of the planet. To shift the paradigm, the phrase, this is not a coincidence. Conquerors, and Obama banned the internet. So one last bit here. The ES values are the same as Minute Brew Nescafe. Remember, this is who got the commercial spot after we were told that Kennedy had been shot. Okay, and the other one was for a Route 66 ad. And so you see here, order out of chaos. Manifest destiny, the source of evil. You have murder was the case. January 15th, and do remember, this is when the song Schism was released. This is when Winston Churchill died. This is also when Kenneth Grant died. And of course, it is that 115 Law and Order number as well, okay? And so you can look at that bit on the bottom there, talking a little more extensively about money, but that's all I want to wrap up with this video. And again, just pointing out the dates for you: December 12th, December 17th, December 18th, October 7th, and November. There's a handful that we've been looking at, including November 4th, November 9th, of course, and November 25th, I believe, the day after Thanksgiving, the day in which we will have 330 days remaining in the year. And of course, how I discussed with you how that all ties in with the videos from from Badu, where she's assassinated, reincarnated in front of the jail release sign with that big 330 in front of it. All right, so I'm going to end it there. I don't want to ramble. Again, I really appreciate everybody supporting this channel in whatever capacity that you feel comfortable doing so, just so long as you're thinking about the information. That is what is so important to me. And so one last thing here, murder was the case, right? Coming up with Mother Monster, and you think about this with the January 15th date. Division is what schism ultimately means. And it's what happens when famous world leaders die, all right? So take all that with a grain of salt, contribute at the bottom, engage. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and please, please be well.